You know that feeling, right? When your alarm goes off and it's less of a gentle wake-up call and more like a slap in the face,
Uh-huh.
like almost a personal attack.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, you hit snooze once, maybe twice, and suddenly like half your morning's just gone poof.
And you're already playing catch up before you even really start the day.
Exactly. And that's actually kind of what we're diving into today. We've been looking at this really interesting account from someone who decided to try this experiment for a whole week where they focused on making healthier choices right when they woke up.
Kind of a reset for their morning routine.
Exactly. And the idea isn't to like turn everyone into some kind of morning person superhero overnight,
Yeah, no magic wand here.
but it is about kind of picking out some of those like really practical things that they did and maybe, sparking some ideas for our listeners about how just like little
It's just
changes
tiny tweaks.
to your morning routine could actually have some pretty big positive effects.
It's like setting yourself up for success, but not in a way that feels overwhelming.
Totally.
Hmm.
So one of the things that really jumped out at us from this person's account was this idea that like really intentionally starting your day in a healthier way can be a total game changer.
I love that phrase.
Right. It's a bold statement for sure, but when you think about it, the reasoning behind it makes a lot of sense.
Because it's about so much more than just what you're doing in those first few minutes.
It's about the tone you're setting for the whole day.
Exactly. And the energy and motivation that come along with that.
So they talk a lot about the connection between like physical well-being and your mental state.
Which is so key. I think
Yeah.
a lot of times we kind of separate those two things,
Oh, totally.
but they're so intertwined.
And they were saying that even just starting the day, with something like drinking some water.
Or doing a couple stretches.
Yeah, something small
Can actually make a difference.
in how clearly you think you're focused and even just like your general mood.
It's not just some fluffy concept. It's like the foundation for a good day.
And I think a lot of us can relate to that struggle of like actually getting out of bed in the first place.
Oh, the snooze button is my best friend and my worst enemy.
Right. They talked about that too. It's such a universal thing.
It's that instant gratification versus long-term benefit battle.
Yeah, you want just 5 more minutes of cozy, but then you end up feeling rushed and kind of
It's a tough choice to make when you're half asleep.
for real.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things about this person's experiment was that they really focused on simple adjustments.
Like achievable stuff.
They gave some really specific examples, like we mentioned the water thing, but also things like just taking like a minute or two to do some stretches.
Or just sitting quietly even.
Yeah, like nothing crazy intense.
And that's, I think, a really crucial point here. It's not about turning your whole life upside down.
Yeah, no 4 a.m. wake-up calls required.
Exactly.
Oof.
It's more about consistency and finding those little things that you can actually stick with.
Finding what works for you.
Because small, sustainable habits over time, that's where the real magic happens.
So they also talked about some of those common roadblocks that a lot of us face in the morning.
Oh, like the morning struggle bus.
Yeah, exactly. So fatigue is a big one, obviously.
That feeling of just being weighed down.
And then there's the stress that can kind of creep in before you've even like had your coffee.
Oh, yeah, like just thinking about everything you have to do that day.
And then there are those habits that we've kind of just gotten into without even thinking about it.
Like checking your phone the second you open your eyes.
Yes. Email, social media. It's like instant information overload.
And that can totally derail a good start to your day.
Totally. It fragments your attention, raises your stress level, and you haven't even like stepped out of bed yet.
And it can be even worse for people who aren't getting enough sleep.
Oh yeah, if you're already sleep deprived, even like the smallest things can feel super hard.
It's like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach.
And that's when a lot of people turn to those quick fixes, right?
Oh, like the extra large coffee and a donut.
Pretty much. You get that initial boost,
Right.
but then you end up crashing later.
Yeah, it's not a sustainable solution.
So this experiment was all about finding those more sustainable habits.
The things that set you up for success in the long run.
And they highlighted a few key areas that I think are really worth talking about.
Let's hear them.
So first up, consistent sleep schedule.
The holy grail.
They talk about how regulating your body's natural sleep-wake cycle and creating a relaxing bedtime routine can really make a huge difference in how well you sleep and how much energy you have in the morning.
Yeah, it's like giving your body the cues it needs to wind down and prepare for rest.
And they even mentioned practical things like making sure your bedroom is cool and dark.
Oh, yeah, your sleep environment is so important.
It's about creating that ideal sleep sanctuary.
So you can wake up feeling refreshed and ready to go.
Next up, exercise. They found that even incorporating something like a short yoga session or a quick walk
Doesn't have to be anything too crazy.
can really boost your energy and help you feel more awake.
Plus, you get those feel-good endorphins.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be super intense. Even moderate movement can get your blood flowing and help you think more clearly.
It's like jump-starting your brain.
And then, of course, there's breakfast.
The most important meal of the day.
They really emphasize the importance of a balanced meal with protein-complex carbs and healthy fats.
To give you that sustained energy and focus.
And they were really adamant about avoiding those sugary cereals and pastries that can lead to that mid-morning slump.
Yeah, those are like energy vampires.
It's about giving your body the fuel it needs to power through the morning.
And protein is key for feeling full and satisfied, so you're not reaching for those unhealthy snacks later on.
And we can't forget about hydration. They were all about replenishing those fluids you lose overnight.
Which makes sense. Our bodies are like 60% water.
Dehydration can really mess with you too.
Yeah.
Fatigue, headaches, trouble concentrating.
So even just a glass of water first thing in the morning can make a difference.
It's like waking up your cells.
Totally.
And then there's mindfulness.
Oh, I love that they included this.
Me too. They talked about how even just a few minutes of meditation or deep breathing in the morning can help reduce stress and create a sense of calm.
It's like pressing the reset button on your mind before the day gets going.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be some big elaborate thing. Even just focusing on your breath for a minute can make a difference.
It's about being present in the moment.
And finally, time management.
Ah, the art of organization.
They talked about how helpful it can be to prioritize tasks, set some intentions for the day, maybe even have a loose schedule.
Even little things like prepping your lunch or laying out your clothes the night before can save so much time and stress in the morning.
It's about being proactive instead of reactive.
Then taking control of your time.
Now, beyond the actual habits themselves, they also talked about the importance of support and inspiration.
Because, let's be real, change can be hard.
It can. And they said that having someone to share your goals with can really help with motivation and accountability.
It's like having a cheerleader in your corner.
And they had some really cool examples. There was this one entrepreneur who started waking up at 5 a.m. every day to fit in meditation and exercise.
Wow, that's dedication.
Right. But they said it made a huge difference in their energy levels, stress management, overall well-being.
It's like they unlocked a whole new level of productivity.
And then there was this other example of a really busy working parent who found that adding even a short yoga practice to their mornings helped them feel less stressed and more energized.
Which shows that it doesn't have to be this huge time commitment.
Even small, consistent actions can have a big impact.
And ultimately, it's about finding what works for you in your life.
So to recap all those key ingredients for a healthier morning that we talked about:
Let's do it.
consistent sleep, some form of exercise, a balanced breakfast, hydration, mindfulness, and a bit of time management.
It's like a recipe for a successful day.
And they really emphasized that, it's a process
It's about being patient with yourself.
and not striving for perfection.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
It's about making those small changes and celebrating those wins.
So the big takeaway here is that putting some thought into how you start your day can have a ripple effect on your overall health and well-being.
It's an investment in yourself.
And while the person we were talking about ended their experiment by encouraging people to share their experiences online,
Which is awesome.
I wanted to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Ooh, a parting thought.
So considering all the things we've talked about today, sleep movement, what you eat and drink, your mindset organization, all that stuff, which one aspect of your current morning routine do you think, if you tweaked it even just a little bit, would have the biggest positive impact on your whole day?
That's a great question to ponder.
Something to chew on as you head into tomorrow morning.
Food for thought and hopefully a more energized start to your day.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
See you next time.